My dad wanted an open marriage, assuming it would be all in his favor, but now he's furious because my mom is actually enjoying it. The tension has gotten so bad they're likely heading for divorce. My parents got married very young. My dad got my mom pregnant, and their families pushed them into marriage. My grandfather helped set up a business for my dad in a big city, and they moved there soon after I was born. My mom grew up in a conservative southern town where she was taught to be a submissive wife. Even after moving to the big city, she didn't socialize much, she had no friends and rarely went out. My dad was only there to provide for us, he was always away on business and wasn't present as a husband to my mom or as a father to me. While my dad made a lot of money, which ensured we never lacked anything, my mom grew lonely. Growing up, I became her best friend. We talked about everything. I encouraged her to make friends and find hobbies. After years of gentle nudging, she started going to a nearby park and eventually made her first friend, a gym trainer. Encouraged by both her friend and me, she decided to join a gym. She met more people there and finally began to have a social life. But she continued to share everything with me. About a year ago, my dad, possibly influenced by his new secretary, asked my mom for an open marriage. He told her he was unhappy and that she wasn't meeting all his needs. As a traditional Christian wife, my mom was horrified and came to me in tears. I suggested she consider divorce, but she refused, saying she didn't believe in it and wouldn't be the one to end the marriage. As my dad kept pushing, I could see where this was headed if my mom agreed. With support from her friend and me, she eventually did, but only on the condition that they would be completely transparent with each other. Here's the situation. My dad is a 41-year-old man with a belly, and my mom, at 39, is an athletic woman who works out regularly. For context, I'm a 22-year-old woman. I'm not sure what my dad expected, but I helped my mom set up online dating profiles about 6 months ago. She received an overwhelming number of matches. After chatting with several people and narrowing them down, she started seeing a few. The attention she's getting has given her a huge confidence boost, and she's doing much better. On the other hand, my dad quickly hooked up with his secretary but has struggled to find other partners. With their agreement to be transparent, my mom shares details about her dates, which I think is making things worse. A few weeks ago, my dad snapped at my mom over something trivial. Normally, my mom would have apologized, but with her newfound confidence, she didn't back down. The past few weeks have been filled with constant arguments. My dad keeps picking fights by making sarcastic comments about her clothes or appearance. He even almost called her a derogatory term but stopped himself. I think the reality of the open marriage is finally sinking in. My mom told me that when he suggested ending it, she shut him down immediately. I believe they'll end up splitting. My dad was never really there for either of us, but the idea of them divorcing still feels strange. I don't feel sorry for him, but I do wish he had put more effort into our family. I'm genuinely happy for my mom though. Update. A few days after my previous post, my dad left home and served my mom with divorce papers within a week. Neither set of grandparents knew about any of this until my dad told them while serving the papers. He also implied that my mom had been unfaithful. Both sets of grandparents came to our house and started berating her. Thankfully, I had screenshots of all my parents' conversations, and my mom showed them the proof. Things escalated even further, and the grandparents began fighting, blaming each other's children for the situation. Shortly after, some of my mom's old church friends visited. Back when my mom attended church, these women looked down on her for being from a small town. My mom, who's always been caring and non-judgmental, disagreed with their narrow-minded views, and eventually stopped attending. These same women came by to call her names, but my mom wasn't having it, and kicked them out. On top of everything else, my mom is currently on a fitness plan, so she has defined abs and toned arms. Unfortunately, this led to more hurtful comments from our grandparents, who accused her of having a man's body and made some random T-phobic remarks. Thankfully, her trainer friend has been incredibly supportive through all of this. She even introduced my mom to the attorney she used for her own divorce, and my mom has been spending a lot of time at her place. It turns out that the business my dad runs actually belongs to my mom. It was set up by her father in her name. I had no idea, and always assumed my dad owned it. This whole situation is a huge mess right now. My dad is staying in a hotel, and our grandparents left yesterday after a week of fighting and trying to force my parents back together. I'm sure there's more divorce drama ahead, but I'm hoping things calm down for now.